Hi everyone, I'm Brandon Goy, and today we'll be talking about extracting data from the web using Scrapy. So Scrapy is a open source collaborative framework that helps you extract data from the web. So it's free, it's just downloadable on scrapy.org. Basically it just allows you to build spiders to search web pages for any specific information you want. It downloads into source code, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So first thing I needed to do was make sure my Python was ready to go. Python 3.7.3 is the most updated version of Python. I've been using 2.7, so I had to upgrade for this. So I kind of upgraded and then downgraded back to 2.7 because it seemed to work better on 2.7 for whatever reason. That might have just been user error, but that's how I did it. And then I downloaded Scrapy as well, and in order to do so on my Windows machine, I actually also had to add in Anaconda, which is a Python distribution, and it helps to load everything in that avenue that way. So to build the first spider, the first program that's going to crawl the internet for us, first I needed to kind of select a list of tools that I wanted to look for, and then I needed to find a website to scrape to take the information off of, and then I needed to build a Python script. So you can see on the right that picture is the actual script that I used. I actually used a tutorial that showed me how to scrape a page of quotes on the web, and it was really helpful in just modifying that text, or that script, to really fit my needs. So that was really nice. And then after that, I really just had to debug and execute it, which the debug, which I discussed a little bit earlier, was my Anaconda distribution had to be used before it really started working for me. So I had to kind of find where, I'd go looking for hacking tools. Where on the web you'd find a forum with some information that I could search to look and see what hacking tools people were using nowadays. So the ultimate goal of my spider was to find out what people were talking about. So my first attempt was Reddit. And I built a script, it crawled the website, and when it came back, it really just had the header for Reddit, and that was it, none of the information. And so, I knew what robots.txt was, but I didn't realize how to read it, so I kind of looked into that a little bit, and it shows that Reddit, you're not allowed to crawl it. So the robot.txt file says, stop 2 bots. So I need to find another website, and I need to find a website that would allow me to scrape it. So I kind of looked around, started searching for, what kind of websites I could scrape without robots.txt telling me to stop. And so I came across hackforums.net. So there was 1,993 pages on hackforums.net for hacking tools. I crawled 10 to 11. I think I crawled 10. And the only problem with that was I only really had access to the titles of the threads. Beyond the titles of the threads, you had to log in, so you needed authentication to keep going. But it was still a lot of information, so had I scraped all 1,993 pages, I would have had a lot more. Maybe I would have found more instances of the tools going forward. So, like I said, when we did these crawl of the hack forums, basically what I got back was source code. And the way that the spider I set up worked was it would take each page, write it onto a separate page, and then save it into a folder for me, so I could kind of search it without having to request the website over and over again as I continue, to kind of fine-tune my process and fix anything and add things in and whatnot. So basically what happens is, you get kind of like the picture on the right, you get source code, and then you're able to find information as you like. So as I was kind of learning to use Scrapy, there were some examples of people just grabbing titles, people just grabbing links from certain websites, certain information just between the tags of the HTML code. So as long as you kind of know what sort of information you're looking for, you can kind of get real specific and find exactly what you want from certain websites. So that way I got 11 pages or 10 pages, excuse me, I said that again, of source code from the Hack Forum site. So when I executed my Python script, my spider, this is what I got back in my command shell. And you can see where each page was crawled. It kind of gives you a little, says debug and then crawled. And then the script that I found for the tutorial helped me to put this little print saved file. So it just kind of told me each time I saved a file, and just made sure that that process was done. So that was pretty interesting as well. So a couple of programming tools that I used. Obviously, I talked about the Anaconda Python distribution and Scrapy, but I also used the Notepad++. One of the things I was going to put a slide on here about results to kind of show all the instances of all the tools I found, and unfortunately, I think that the error in this experiment or this project was I really don't know that I found a great site to search. So I'd be interested to see what happens if, I found a better site or maybe logged in to the hack forums, and tried to use it that way, because it was really, it was tough. I didn't really get any hits on any of the tools, and they're, the top 10 tools according to several websites. I looked through and kind of collected them from there. So, it was, not a super successful scraping of the web, but I definitely could see how to do it and how it could be useful in a bunch of different applications. Originally, I did look into using Google to try and scrape links from Google, and then from there try to scrape links from Google, and then use those links to scrape for hacking tools to see, to just broaden my search. But obviously, being that I'd never used Scrapy before, I figured the smaller, just get used to it and successfully run the spider to extract data was more important than trying to do a full-fledged, huge search of the web. But it's definitely an interesting process. It wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. And like I said, there is a lot of application to use these things, or to use these types of web crawling apps or software to find information, and it was really, really interesting. So here are the references from the couple of things I used. Obviously Scrapy, Python, and like I said, there's a quick YouTube video that just showed me how to set up a spider. It was real easy, apart from the installation of Scrapy, again, due to user error. Everything else worked great, and it was real easy to figure out and real useful. So, hope everyone enjoyed this project. Have a great day.